All right, it's my time to get warmed up. Get things rolling here. We'll call it the box. All right, let's get this going. All right. All right, discords are out. One day I'll have a bot to do that for me. Right. Yes. Howard. The music flows through me. I love it when I feel the music. Ah. All right. Almost ready. Almost that time. Yes. Almost, Kool-Aid. Almost. Hopefully we do good tonight. Hey, Lurch. Did you watch any of the sunk cost Galaxy yet, Lurch? Because there's not really a lot of news, so I was thinking about watching the first couple videos of that. Would you, if you're interested, after we do a couple videos? We'll watch the first one, and then however people feel about watching some more of it, we'll review it after the episodes, see if people want to keep listening or not. Because even though it's all true, some of it's stuff people don't want to hear, especially if they put a lot of money into the game. It's just stuff that big backers aren't going to want to hear, but it's the truth, so I don't see why we shouldn't hear it, as long as it's the truth. How'd he steal your ISP connection? You can go in the router and meter him if you want to. If he's like living with you and he's doing Wi-Fi, you can go in there and limit it that. And you're on Wi-Fi and he's hogging it all up, well, you can still go in there and figure out what the Xbox actually needs and then give him what he needs, and then the rest should go to you instead of the Xbox taking a big chunk of it. You can meter it that way too. Well, if he's on his own, it shouldn't bother you. I don't think it would. I know I went through a big thing with the internet for my house because I had to get upload speed. I had to pay dearly for it. Yeah, I had to pay for 20 meg up, which is pretty expensive out where I live. I got more internet power, I think, than our library in town. I don't have many options for faster internet either. I had to have stuff put in. It cost a lot of money. I live on a lake, so they run everything weird around lakes. Can't put nothing under the ground because you'll hit water. Or G repeater system, yeah. They got them up in Blowing Rock, North Carolina, where I was. All right. Ah, I see. Now I get it. Now everything you said makes sense. All I can say is you're 6'8". I know how I deal with it. Just give them the look. Like, this ain't gonna fly. We'll be starting in about 4 minutes. Well, I don't think you had to do that, Lurch. But then again, I like to toy with my food. I like to make people think about what they did. As I said, I bought a really big internet thing, so I got a router and it divvies it up pretty well. Like the stream PC, it's got what it needs. My gaming PC got what it needs, and then my laptop got what it needs. And then from there, it goes to the Xboxes have priority, and then after that, everybody's phone has priority. I got a priority system at my house. But none of it ever gets completely used. It's 200 down, 20 up. Even when I'm streaming, stream is 7 up, and the rest of the house at the most will use 3 up, no matter what they do. So I got like double what I need at all times. But there's no in between for me. It's either residential or business. So I guess I'll write it off on my taxes and be happy. About to kick it off. About time to start. Roll with it, I say.
Even a message can stop.
So, here we are, Star Citizen News. What we have up here is not Star Citizen News at all. It was what I did this weekend with my daughter. We built a small PC. It's a really small box right here. But inside this box is a very powerful PC. I think I got the spec sheet up. Oh, I had made a folder. I know you guys probably can't read this, but it's got an Asus 1060 graphics card in it, a 6 gig. It's got an i5 8600K. It's got a Master Liquid Cool Master CPU cooler, RGB. It's got this mini ITX board. It's got the 370 chipset. It's a gigabyte motherboard. It's got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, pretty much everything you can think of on it. She didn't get an SSD yet. We're gonna get her one, but she's got this 1 terabyte hard drive that she got for $40 in there right now, and we bought the black case and windows. But yeah, this was a fun thing to do with my my daughter. I wonder if I can play this. Yeah, this is me and her putting this thing together. It was really hard getting my hands in there. I went with the white card because I put an LED strip all the way around the video card, and the white picks up the colors from the LED lights. So the graphic card basically turns colors to whatever the light is. So that's why I put the white card in there. So I got that one fan in the front, and this little tiny fan on the one side that I still don't understand really what it does and why they didn't put a full fan there. It was really tough cramming all this shit in here. Like I think this build took like 3 to 4 hours because of unable to get my hands in there, and I had to take stuff apart and put it back together. I know you can't tell because it's going fast, but yeah, I did like some things like over and over again, and it was pretty crazy. I think maybe this is that white thing right there. That's one LED strip, and I put another one up here. That looks like some type of loop or something. That's crazy. I'm not watching that no more. But yeah, that's what I did this weekend with my daughter. We built her little PC. So, onward with Star Citizen News. We'll go with Super Mac Brothers. And their video, they got the Evocati scanning, pretty much stuff we already heard, but from different people. It's not really a lot of news, so, but I like this guy. He's pretty good, Ryan.
Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all the news of Star Citizen from the week just past. I am your host, Mac, so let's get on with it. This week, we get the latest on Squadron 42's progress, lots of information for the upcoming scanning and ping mechanic, plus 3.2 heads into early PTU. So I just want to say a huge thank you to all of my patrons. Your monthly support really helps me get videos like Star Citizen Sunday out. Thank you so much. If you are interested in supporting me and my channel more directly, be sure to follow the link to my Patreon page to learn more. So let's get straight into calling all devs. The first question is, there are no floating name tags above heads. How will people tell other players apart? Now, they said they got turned off due to the planets rotating. Basically, as the player walks around, the name tags would either stay where they are or rotate with the planet. It is on the backlog to fix. They want to find a balance between knowing you're a player and not knowing you're a player. Names will be targets, obviously, so if you know it's a real player, you may spend more time trolling them or tracking them or whatever. They want it to be a little less obvious if you are a player or not. Personally, I just don't want name tags. I see more gameplay with not having name tags above head, specifically in the bounty hunting career, being able to blend in with NPCs. This is something I think will need to be fine-tuned over the time. Maybe having something to do with helmets. Obviously, if you're not wearing a helmet, I don't think there should be any UI at all, but maybe you could have some form of input on your helmet that allows you to see friends, your groups, or even just maybe a mechanic of scanning players to see if what their name is and whether that will determine whether you know their.
I say throw realism out the window and just go like what every game does. I mean, that every game has to do. I mean, just make it like WoW. I mean, really. I mean, have people's names above their heads, and that's what it is, and it's a game. That's what I say about the name tags. Don't reinvent the wheel and make something stupid when you can just make something easy. It's already out there. Just copy it and give me my game. That's how I feel.
Real or not, those sort of things. I don't think it should just be straight so obvious, and I don't think that was the intention anyway, so fingers crossed that won't be a thing. Anyway, next question is, will we be able to adjust the brightness and gamma and all these different functions of the UI? Now, Todd Pappy says yes, they want to redo the front end and have a proper gamma calibration. They're still in tech talks about how to fix all this, but it is definitely on the roadmap and it will be done. Next question, is there an ETA for Caterpillar modules and overall ship modularity? Now, obviously there's no ETA, there never is, unfortunately, but there is a plan for them. It's on the backlog, but it's not a priority. They still plan for modularity and things like deployment bays, habitation, medic bays, and so forth for the Caterpillar. They are still coming. This modularity will affect many different ships like the Retaliator, the Karak, the Endeavour, plus others. It will be like swapping out cartridges, but it's not as simple as that, as everything needs to be hooked up with the ships, like the piping system, the lighting system, everything really. Plus, it's a different zone within a ship, so they need to make sure it all connects properly. So next question, will we be able to get out of our cockpits and walk around while in quantum travel? And yes, that is still the plan to allow that. Obviously, jumps between planets can take 8 minutes, we've seen between Arkor and Hurston. You will have the ability to get up and do other things like mess with your cargo or fix something on your ship. But then if your ship starts heading into a trap or pulled out of quantum travel or is on a collision course with an asteroid, you will need to be notified and warned so you can run back to your cockpit and ensure it doesn't happen. There should be, they've said, a wealth of things to do on board, so yeah, you won't just be sat in the chair bored to crap. Final question for Calling All Devs. So many ships come used with wear and tear. Why is this, and will we ever be able to clean them? Now, they say that they come with wear and tear to make them feel lived in and used and feel a little more real. All the materials have a slider which can be changed, or can change the wear and tear. So this is for ships, weapons, clothing, anything really. And in the future, as your ship gets more used, the slider will increase the amount of wear and tear, and then as you clean them, it will reduce it again. We don't know in what way you can clean them, just repairing them maybe. I don't know if you're going to be able to stand there and mop and actually make a difference. But ships like the Caterpillar, the Reclaimer, won't ever be completely clean due to its style. But other ships like the Razor and the M50, it would make more sense to be able to have them super clean. Anyway, that was Calling All Devs.
I'm picturing like a Crucible car wash module. Pull up with your Crucible and wash some ships.
Guys, let's move on. So around the first this week was the Squadron 42 update. It also included scanning and a look at the Eclipse. Kicking it off with the Squadron 42 update, the weapon system has received an overhaul. Right now the focus is on recoil for FPS weapons. Weapon feel is very important, and Squadron 42 features a lot of on-foot shooting. Basically, the new system defines a base recoil for each weapon, then it's affected by the player depending upon their position, their state, and other stats. Ship AI is coming along as well. Focus is on smoothing out the ship takeoff and landing of the Idris. They've made progress on how the AI prioritise targets based on threat level, chance and character personal bias during flight. Ship AI teams also iterating on fighter and gunship behaviours, plus a lot of back-end improvements to help improve the overall ship combat experience. They're working on the Odin system as well, the spacecaping for this, developing the space scene, which they call the Overworld, building this gas cloud tech, which is used throughout the whole of Squadron 42's campaign, including the coil for Nebula and other pockets of interesting areas of space. It also helps with narrative and variety. They want to make the space scenes look amazing and convey a message to the player, kind of balance it between plausibility, reality, and visuals. Once they have all this working in Squadron 42, they'll then apply that to Star Citizen's Position Universe as well. The prop team continues to turn out control room sets for Chemline. They wanted to create an abandoned vibe, so they've done a damage pass creating damage variants of each asset. Work has started on what I think they said was a scrap house on an upcoming location. They're just building out the texture sets and geometry, but they can't say anymore. If you do know what they said, it sounds like Scrap House, but I can't really tell. Anyway, the visual targets are being built up on the chem line as well, plus other Squadron 42 locations. They do look very cool wherever they may be. Ship emergency and distress states are being iterated on and polished. It's going to be separate to the full destroyed versions we've seen of the Idris crashed on a planet. The planet versions were only static builds, whereas I'm hoping this means that as the ship gets closer to exploding, we get to see it in a real semi-derelict state. Not too sure though, my fingers are crossed there though. Work continues on the Bengal carrier as well, getting new locations built out in near final states. We've seen the brig, where you've got 1 to 24 prisons, which is a lot of holding cells there. The animation team is getting variants in the NPC combat sets. This is really cool. So alongside the trained mercenary sets, they're developing the visual language for the untrained NPCs. If they are trained, they'll be confident in their actions, decisive, and a lot more difficult to take down. The untrained NPCs will be more skittish and have more wild actions. It also applies to how they react to cover, so trained NPCs will switch hands for the weapons when in cover, whereas non-trained will just expose themselves more. Stances too will vary depending on the level of training. I do love how this could play out when it comes to the PU and we're hiring NPCs, and each one having a varied ability, so if you hire a lesser person, they're more gonna, they're not gonna be as effective, and seeing that visually is gonna be so cool. Anyway, finally, the character art team is creating additional hero costumes, like the outfit for Graves here, which is played by John Rhys Davis. This jacket is from his old days in the 118th Squadron, and the shirt and boots just sort of shows he's a professional manager of security on a rugged mining base. I believe he plays the security manager of the Shuban outpost. Anyway, moving on to scanning now. Now they're making improvements to the radar, which includes ping and scanning. Ping is where you find elements of interest like ships, derelict ships, and mineable rocks and so forth, and then scanning is allowing you to determine the information for each of these items. You can currently see targets within a passive radar range, but they want to allow us to gather more info from targets outside of this range, which is why they've introduced this ping mechanic. It basically sends out a wave which has a greater range than the passive radar and returns the...
Anybody know if we're getting like fuel salvaging with the mining, or is mining coming and then the fuel's coming later? Because this looks like this would be for fuel. So is the fuel coming too? For the first pass of it? Anybody know?
The signals of values of these items within that range. As you begin to fly closer to them, you hold the button down and start collecting more information on that target. So if it's a ship, you can figure out the owner, the ship itself, the health, the status, even the faction they belong to. They do want to expand this after the first tier, maybe being able to scan the crew manifest and the crew's health, the cargo they're carrying, even sub-items, just to help you build a manifest that you could either use for yourself, store for...
It looks like they already got the gas right there.
You will light up when you use this ping feature, so it's pretty dangerous, kind of reveals your location. It's also very good for stealth gameplay, they say, so if you throttle all your energy and power usage down, you could slip under people's passive radars. But obviously this is quite dangerous, as you're ultimately reducing your effectiveness of your weapon shields and power plants and whatever you've reduced. So if someone does send out a ping and find you, then you're vulnerable. Okay. But on the other hand, you'll notice they've pinged, and it will allow you to figure out what to do next. So it's all balancing the gameplay. Now, if you actively scan a ship, it could be seen as a threat, and the crew being scanned will get alerted and obviously ask questions about this. But it also sounds like you'll sort of tell what the person is scanning on board your ship. So if they start scanning your cargo, it's quite likely that they're up to something a little suspicious. Now, when it comes to mining, scanning also applies to mining. Right now, the radar only finds mineable rocks. They have added some non-mineable rocks artificially to create a bit more challenging gameplay, but only at long distances. When you get within range of the rocks, you can then establish what minerals are within these rocks. The prospector sends out the ping, finds the rock of interest, gets closer to the rock, and then switches to the mining UI. And as you hover your cursor over the rock, over time, it will tell you what resources are available within that entity. The mission developers are really looking forward to using the scanning and radar system to get more interesting missions out for us. Hopefully they'll come with 3.2, if not 3.3. Anyway, to finish off with, ATV took a look at the Eclipse. It was a little ship shape. This is a single-seat stealth bomber, very much like the B-2 bomber. It's about as wide as the Gladius, they say, when it's fully stretched out. It'll be coming in 3.2. It's in the flight prep stage along with the Avenger, the Vandal Blade, and the Hurricane. Jared says the 600i is in the final art review, but don't worry, it will still, well, it should still make it into 3.2. Now, the Eclipse has a utilitarian cockpit.
It's got 3 of those big missiles, man, that are on the Retaliator. You could like each one of those missiles, if you hit like a Retaliator-sized ship with it, it's gone. I mean, there's no if, ands, or but. You just vaporized somebody's Connie with just one of them. A Gemini too. I mean, that would be no contest because those missiles are so huge. The punch that this ship has is just incredible, dude. You just gotta keep it hidden, or you gotta protect it with your friends. Like, you know, get some Hornets around it, or get some Sabres around it. Yeah, you gotta. This is a monster. I'm thinking they're gonna go fly by wire for some of it. Like on the Retaliator, I could see fly by wire to where when you launch it, it would give you a TV screen and you would steer it. I see that.
Heavy technical cladding, complicated looking appearance. It feels very claustrophobic, very dark inside. I do really like the way it seems to feel. It is a stealth bomber, so you know it kind of fills that role. It's got the atmospheric mode where the wings are folded slightly. It's got space mode where it's just a pure triangular shape, very much like the B2. And then it has landing mode, in which the wings fold up and it looks much more like a bird. The torpedo bay is quite
crap
clever.
quality
It has a cylindrical
video.
delivery system. Basically, it picks one of the missiles from either side and then lowers it via a mechanical arm and then fires forward. It's new to what we already know of, and in the future they say that you will be able to equip varieties of torpedoes. So the right hook could hold a specific type, and the left hook could hold a different one, and then you can choose between them depending on what you're wanting to do or what you're wanting to use. It has got minimum armament, although it's got 3 size 9 torpedoes, so it has a very big payload. It only has 2 size 2 or size 3 guns, so nothing really hefty weaponry-wise. The torpedoes themselves are almost the full length of the ship. It is meant to be a part of the convoy, so fighters protecting you as you solely try to deliver the payload. Very much welcomes team play, but if you're flying against a capital ship alone, you will likely fail. Now, the Eclipse will fit in an Idris, but you have to enter the landing mode. It can be used to deploy the Eclipse anywhere, which sounds like such a lot of gameplay surrounding the Eclipse. I very much love the look of it. I don't own one, but it looks very cool, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of gameplay involved with it.
I think it'll fit on a Crucible too. So a Crucible with this thing could be a dangerous combination.
Good information came out of this, so let's get going, because there was a lot of information as well. The passive radar only sees ships in your short vicinity. They want to allow you to see further. So Tier 0 will allow you to ping out the radar, which is a 360 sort of ping, giving you general information of objects within the larger ping distance. So it picks up electromagnetics, infrared, and RS, which is a new signature called resource signature, so mineable rocks and so forth. They all appear as blobs in the general direction, but with no actual information, and as you fly closer to them, you'll begin to dissolve this information. You can do a focused ping on a specific object, which will give you information as if it was within your passive range radar, so as long as the signal back is strong enough, this only goes for ships and rocks. For Tier 0, eventually they'll have more options there. So we saw a quick little video, I'll only play a bit of it, where it shows him pinging, and then you notice this sort of discoloured rock. It's not supposed to be discoloured until you go into the mining interface, but that must just be a glitch. You can see all the information on the side regarding the rock's contents in terms of minerals. You can also see the balancing of power to shatter ratio. The whole mining mechanic itself will require a little finesse. It's not just a click and wait sort of loop. You've got to balance the power. I did love how when the rock shattered, the fragments caused the moon dust, or the surface of the moon, to sort of dust up and cloud up as they hit and bounced around. It was a very nice touch, was that. So the first question is there going to be any 2D scanning options? Now, they say for Tier 0 there isn't going to be, but they do want to represent these sort of blobs that you pick up and info you've scanned on your 2D radar, so that could be an option. Next question is, will they be able to jam scanners on other ships to mask items of interest from others? And they say that they would love to do that. They're not at that stage at the moment, but it would be cool. They need to find a balance between it. So if you don't want to be scanned, they need something else to help there. They did say there could be a possibility of some sections of pirate ships could be cloaked, or you could put out a fake ID. You could always drop your signals low enough so that you will not be spotted, but then obviously you are vulnerable. Next question, what strengths of signals is needed to be seen? Now, Tier 0, they say, is going to be very simple. This is what's coming in 3.2. This is the current status. Each single unit will have a fall-off after 1 meter. So if you're emitting 1,000 EMs at...
So 3.2 is... This is the 6th. So 21 days would be 3 weeks, would be the 27th. So 4 weeks, right? 3.2 in 4 weeks, guys. Am I right there? 4 weeks?
At 1,000 meters, it drops to 0. The radius of the signal is constantly falling from your position. Your detectable range will be determined by the components and equipment that you have and how they are tuned, and your total distance ping will be determined by your scanner and whether it's upgraded and so forth. Obviously, as time goes on, they'll introduce more and more of these sort of gameplay and balance it out, but your ship will eventually have some UI that you can tell whether you'll be detectable by the players or not, so it won't be just guesswork. Now, someone asked what types of ping are there? Is there going to be variations to it? And the ping can go up to 128 times, so it starts off at 1 and goes up in double, like 2 times increments, so 1, 2, 4, 6, and so forth. It starts at 360 degrees, and it goes into smaller angle increments as well as you get closer. I think they said there's about 8 levels of scanning. We did see like 32 times and 64 times, and each time the angle gets a little narrower, but it goes further. They did point out that it always scans from the front of your ship, so you need to be facing the right direction, unless you have a directional ability like on the Aquila, where you can turn the sort of dish as a separate entity. Next question, will all ships be able to scan? And they said they're not made that decision just yet, but any ship with a ping or a scanner item should be able to. What will make scanning skill-based for improvements? A very good question, that, because they did say they want it to be skill-based. Now, there is an inherent skill when it comes to narrowing the angle and scanning further without having to go through all the stages. So instead of having to go from 1 to 2 to 4 to 32 to 128, if you can go from 1 to straight to 128 and pick the right target, that's obviously a good skill. The blobs, after the initial 360 scan, show up as clumps of objects. So it could just be one, or it could be a clump of multiple objects. So determining what a single object or a group of objects will
yeah, so I guess knowing where to look would be the skill.
Practice. Will the scanning capability be determined by the scanner type, size, like components? They say not for tier 0, but for the future, yes. So scanning power, resolution, power usage, the wear and tear, the durability, all of these. There's maybe another idea is that your scanner is not so good, so you can't scan through capital ship hulls, or maybe something with shields. So there will be a lot of bouncing around and trying to figure out this sort of gameplay, but it does sound really cool. Can you scan people is another question, and this is again maybe a future plan. You can use the ping to detect life forms or even scanning people's pockets eventually. They have designed this scanner to be able to scan anything. When testing, they said they were scanning random things. They scanned a player and got the items he had. Then when he went on board a ship, they saw the ship items, and then they scanned a little further and it presented the player on board and the player's items again. They're not sure how far they want to take this, but the option is there to develop it. One of the prototypes they said they have got is scanning info and storing it as in a data bank, and then taking that data bank with all that information to someone else. So you could share it with your crew or your party members, and if you can share it, it means you could potentially sell this information about a particular ship for whatever reason, which opens up a lot of cool gameplay. This kind of shows that scanning is a huge commodity and gameplay. Having a single ship in the fleet scanning and then sharing all information between the fleet is very beneficial, rather than everyone scanning at the same time. The scanning career is an important role, and I'm pretty sure that the SM Borg, my own organisation, will need a team of specialist scanners, so if you are interested, come and join my org, links below. For the future, they said that they want to warn people who are being scanned, so if a pirate starts scanning your cargo bay, or if someone starts scanning your cargo bay, you're gonna need to know this and sort of raise the questions. So next question, can you ping and scan below surfaces of a planet or inside buildings? Now, they said that this will be something they want to implement along with similar features. Maybe some materials are harder to penetrate than others, but definitely not tier 0. Will there be delays between pinging? And yes, this is part of the ping item itself. There will be a cooldown time. If you spike up the power, you could probably ping faster, but then it uses more power and your signals get stronger, so you end up broadcasting your position more. Next question is it possible to combine multiple scans from many ships and create a large, full-on scan merged together? Now, they did say that combining things is part of the infrastructure, but how they do it in gameplay standpoint, they're not too sure yet. Next question is, will there be shielded cargo boxes stopping people from scanning them? And they say yes.
Like a motorcycle driving around, wow.
Smuggle stuff, but if someone has a high enough scanner, then maybe they'll see through it, but then, you know, who has the best? I'm sure there'll be one best way of smuggling and one best scanner. That will it be able to defeat each other? Who knows? The first goal after 3.2, they said, is trying to tie it into missions, so getting you to scan for a target rather than just having the nav point, or using the scanner to find a mission, so items may be spawning randomly somewhere in space and only found through exploration and scanning, which sounds excellent. Next question is, will scanners use a utility hardpoint? And they're not too sure about this. Internal items like power plants, shield generators and so forth could work. The Aquila, they want to allow it to be part of the turret, but until they have the ability to damage internal items, they're not sure what they're going to decide on there. Because obviously, if you can target a scanner on the outside, that will benefit anyone who doesn't want to be scanned. But then if it's on the interior, it's not as easy to get to. So, second to last question, what about altering the type of scan? Maybe making it specifically heat, specifically IR or EM. Now, the future tiers will have this ability. For example, you can just switch to resources scanning only. Final question, will different atmospheres and effects on planets and around the spacescape hinder scanning? And they said they do have an ambient system being worked on, so infrared, electromagnetics, etc. around planets, each affecting certain signals. So scanning for heat signatures in like a humid swamp may be difficult, so you may need to switch to a different scanning type. They are still toying with some ideas already, but they're not ready to show it off. Anyway, that was scanning some real good information, and I'm getting very excited to get this mechanic in. It sounds like it's going to be quite a pinnacle part of the gameplay loop in Star Citizen, in every area of the game as well. And like I said, having specialist scanners in your crew, I think will be very useful. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, guys. I've waffled on far too long. Let's move on. So just a quick heads up, there will be no Star Citizen Sunday next week, as I'll be heading to the Download Festival. I shall get it up once I'm back, so likely around Tuesday, Wednesday, the 12th or the 13th. So also this week, the latest jump point is available for all RSI subscribers. There is a new Plain Truth post titled Fair Chance Fail, which revisits an old scandal to expose the UEE's failure to protect OSO 2. And finally, in the latest newsletter, it says, and I quote, "We have exciting news this week as development officially moves to focus on Alpha 3.2, with features and improvements making their way into the early stages of PTU implementation, meaning that the Eva Cotti group have started getting some of the features destined for 3.2, so they're testing it now. Which is good news, which means a couple of weeks' time, 2 to 3 weeks' time, 3.2 should be released." So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for watching, and thank you to our subscribers, plus a massive thank you to our patrons as you make this possible. If you like what we do and want to help us make it better, follow the link in the description to our Patreon page to learn more.
Alright. That was Super Mac Bros. I'll put the link down here.
No, the thumbnail.
Oh, no, the thumbnail. I'll have a new video. What Board does. Board's got a video for us.
Hello and welcome to...
Before we go on to Board, yeah, the scanning looks pretty cool. I know we saw it all last week and all that, but yeah, something to talk about. It's those weren't gas giants; those were ships. Lurch said in the thing. I thought we were gonna get like the fuel thing. I was kind of looking forward to it because we already have the Gemini and the Starfarer out. Would have been nice if we could use them. All right, so Board's got this video here. It's new Drake ship teaser, which should be exciting, and life support and the Phoenix updates. How many people own the Phoenix? I own the Phoenix. Anybody else? So I'm kind of interested to see about the Phoenix. All right, let's play this video.
To some more Star Citizen. Today, talking about life support, clothing styles, the Constellation Phoenix. Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today, talking about life support, clothing styles, the Constellation Phoenix updates, and a possible Drake concept ship teaser, all from Calling All Devs that was originally broadcast on the 4th of June. Life support is planned to be a component on a ship, just like a power plant, but it's always going to be in a fixed location on a ship based on its hull, and it's not going to be interchangeable with other types. When the item gets damaged, you'll have to interact with it directly to do repairs. There aren't replacements for them. You literally just repair them on your ship. There isn't plans for variants for life support systems as components, so the one you get with your ship is the one you're stuck with. Think of them as integrated components, basically unchangeable based on your ship. You won't need to fill up with oxygen or anything like that. The system just needs power. If it goes offline, you can switch to your spacesuit, for example, to breathe while you're waiting for it to be repaired. The life support system will apply breathable atmosphere into the interior of ships, allowing them to be pressurized and also for you to, live there without your helmet on. This will be connected to the room system as well, which allows for different pressures and atmospheric compositions behind sealed doors and between rooms. Some ships have an issue that when you open a door, the entire ship is vented. They will be fixing that issue on affected multi-crew ships. Think of maybe something like an air shield or like a little force field that comes down, something simple. It's on the backlog. Clothing. Every location and planet you go to should have some form of theme and style when it comes to clothing and local appearance. NPCs and player clothing are the same, so you'll have the same choices. You can wear anything else that another NPC wears. You can dress like a local on a planet to blend in to that location, or you can stay however you want to dress. Based on the location, there will be a percentage amount of the populace not wearing the typical local area clothing, though some areas this percentage might be very small. In larger hub areas, it's likely that you're going to see people wearing loads of different styles from all over the verse. Constellation Phoenix updates. Armor is currently being worked on for item 2.0, so it will be implemented in the future, different armor types, and the Phoenix is planned to have improved armor over the other Connie variants. The Phoenix will have better grade of components and class of components as well, giving it a performance boost over the other constellations. So, for example, the Andromeda has 2 Class C civilian power plants. The Phoenix has a better grade and class, so most likely it will have 2 B grade competition class components. In the Calling All Devs, they also said that points defense systems and turrets will be a thing in the future, and in 3.3, with the Connie's release that it was just going to get a unmanned turret for the meantime. Now, there were some corrections to this on Reddit. So this clarification actually turned out to be more of a headache for me. But going through all of the answers and everything, Disco Lando eventually said, the Phoenix will have both a top and bottom manned turret. The additional unmanned turret that they discussed in Calling All Devs will actually be added at a later time. Now, I'm still a bit confused about point defense systems in game now. Now, I know ships aren't typically going to come with one. I don't think they're a thing in the same way anymore. But I do think that some manned and unmanned turrets will be able to fit AI modules that allow them to act like point defense type systems, or have some other similar simple instruction kind of like shoot these particular types of things. Try and shoot missiles down. Try and shoot enemy ships that are of this size down. This will be based on the turret and the ship in question's computer blade hardpoints, which they have previously talked about before. And once we have more on how AI modules will work and how all these point defense system things that we might be able to set them up for in the future will work, we will talk about it more. But that is a little while off yet. There was also a new Drake teaser of some description. They had the Drake logo and they teased the date of the 14th of June. So there were some very obscure teaser pictures as well, which some users on Reddit have tried to merge together and clean up. The most likely thing here is that it's for the Drake Vulture small salvage ship, and that it's going to be on concept sale at that date, the 14th of June. However, the nature of the teasers was sort of like interruptions to the show, sort of like a signal being hacked. And there is the likelihood that there's going to be a medium storage runner, like a larger version of the Herald, on the horizon soon too. But it is much more likely to be a Vulture small salvage ship rather than a medium storage runner. We'll have to wait and see though. But what do you think was going to be shown on the 14th of June? Are you happy with the changes to the Constellation Phoenix? It should still retain its superiority over the other Connies. Later this week on Thursday and Friday, we should be getting some Persistent Universe Star Citizen updates. That will be very 3.2 centric. I expect that we could even get the Evocati PTU as early as this weekend as well. Don't hold your breath, though. It is nearly ready. I don't know what's going to be tested in that Evocati. Once it's released, we'll probably be able to say that the Evocati build has been released, but we won't be able to say anything that's not public knowledge about that build, or that CIG haven't publicly stated until it goes to First Wave PTU, which will be a week or two after the initial Evocati release. This month's featured spotlight is the Daymar Rally, and they're giving away a rally pack of a Tumbril Cyclone and an Aegis Vulcan, which coincidentally is all the hardware you need to enter the rally. The Daymar Rally is an annual community-organised event which is set to have its inaugural endurance race on the 27th of January 2019. There will be 3 divisions over a 300-kilometre course set on Crusader's moon, Daymar. It is an in-game event, and I'm very much up for these. A 4-person crew can sign up their team now with a ground vehicle and support vehicle. More info, the sign-up, and complete rulebook can be found on daymarrally.com. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that rally pack, though, is be subscribed to my channel and comment on any of my videos throughout June. 1 per video. Each video gives you another chance to win. Also, I'm working with Shadow, which is a cloud-based subscription gaming PC service that gives you an alternative to upgrading, but also as a gaming PC anywhere. I'm trying to make the service as Star Citizen friendly as possible, but please check that out again in the description below if you're interested, and using the promo code BOARDGAMER will give you a discount too if you decide that you like it. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help me, and I'll see you in the verse.
Alright. I'm not sure if this is the one that we watched last night with Oxford or not. I kind of sounded familiar, but here's the Daymar Rally website, daymarrally.com. What do you say, Lurch? You do this? 3 divisions: buggy, cyclone, rover, bike. Maximum 2 drivers and 2 support pilots per team. Weapons allowed after the first checkpoint. So after the first checkpoint, you start shooting at each other. 1 team member from your race vehicle must enter the outpost and see the official to qualify and continue. 1 support spacecraft aircraft is allowed to refuel, restock, repair, and navigate. You guys with me still here? What actually are they asking people to do? Huh. Esport. Well, anyway, something to think about here. Want to pound the ground with your Star Citizen ground vehicles. Shoot some people. Okay, so there was one other video I came across earlier today. With Citizen Gamer, I believe. This guy puts out videos like every 2 or 3 days. Every 2 or 3 days, this guy right here, Citizen Gamer, comes through with a video. Citizen Gamer. So these were the guys that talked about missiles last week. So redefining flight. This is their they call it the Star Citizen Blastcast. This is number 136. Redefining flight.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Blastcast. I am Jars, and with me, as always, is a man who's stealthier than a fart in a high wind, Lightning Dragon.
So sneaky.
And Stinky.
I don't think about that.
Let's get into this week's news. Around the verse this week was the Squadron 42 update. Of all the update news they provided, the most interesting one for me was that the animation team had added different variations to how NPCs on ground combat acted, depending upon if they're trained versus untrained. Basically, your janitor with a gun versus your soldier with a gun. And,
of course, the janitor is going to win, obviously.
Well, yeah, you always root for the janitor. Especially if it's Star Wars Galaxies. Now, as much as I love that game, there was that one bug the one time where they reversed all the states or all the strengths of the NPCs. So like the weakest starting mob was the strongest, and you could go up to a crate dragon and punch it in the face, and it would just die. That was a fun week.
Well, I'm also thinking of Star Wars. The new one wasn't I want to call him Poe Dameron, but I don't think it was Poe. Some other dude. I don't care. Anyway, I could have swore one of them was the janitor, and then he became a hero of the galaxy.
Oh, you're talking about the Stormtrooper guy, basically.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. Back into the main branch of the game, they decided to talk a little bit about scanning.
Yay.
Now, currently, you can see active targets in your passive radar range. My question on that is that a cone or is that 360? Frankly, I think only ships that have full scanning packages should have 360. Something like the Hornet Tracker or ships similarly fitted with a scanning package proper. A ping sends out a pulse of energy that will bounce off the target, come back to you, and let everyone know where you are when you use it, but you'll also know where they are. One of the questions I have on this as well, a lot of the trends I've seen in Star Citizen is the range of things is often pretty darn close. I hope the range on this isn't just like 50 miles. These kind of scanning mechanics need to go out for hundreds of miles. Having put about 2 weeks into DCS now, yes, I am referring to DCS.
How dare you?
I know. You have planes that can scan well over 100 miles with a passive radar to locate if something is out there. You may not be able to fully identify it, but you'll know it's there. So if we only get like a 50 mile or something like that, that's...
So Lurch, those aren't ships. Those could be anything, is what you're trying to say. It's just like if it's unidentified, they put that cloud there. So I totally misunderstood this. I thought they were targeting like gas giants and stuff last week when I first saw it. What do you think, Kool-Aid? They just add this fog? Is that what that is? Is they just adding fog in the middle of the thing? Kind of weird.
That doesn't gonna make a lot of sense. We need to have time. We need to be able to scan like, 1,000 miles out, there's something coming this way, or something out there in general, and have time to prepare. As it gets closer, maybe you get more detail, but you at least need to know there's something out there. Now, approaching objects, you basically hover your cursor over them, and it's going to provide additional information, which is kind of a weird mechanic. I think it should just show up on one of your MFDs. You've scanned it, you select it, you get a squeaky chair, and then basically you can find out what kind of squeaky chair it is.
It's a used office chair, that's what it is.
But I want to know the brand. That's important.
No, I couldn't tell you the brand. I don't have good enough scanners for that.
Exactly. But apparently Star Citizen does, because further scanning could reveal crew health, number of crew, it's kind of backwards there, but you get the idea, sub-items, cargo, all that stuff. So apparently we've got Star Trek sensors. Maybe we'll know what two people are making out. We'll find out. But
Heat sensors.
yeah. So the heat is higher back there for those two people. But so if you have sensors that powerful, I really, really, really hope that they can reach a good ways. Also, I think it's a bit too detailed. I don't need to know if Bob has a wounded left leg. While we have a mechanic like that, not having beyond visual range combat that you can't use without a spotter. That seems kind of contradictory. Now, initially, the scanning mechanic course is going to be used for mining. It'll return a bunch of information based upon the mix of the rock and the asteroid or the location or wherever you're going. It will try to filter out non-mineable rocks, basically get it down to what is exactly in there that is mineable. So for 3.2, mining is going to be the only place using the scanning mechanic, and more will be introduced later.
Oh, please give me my Orion. I have such little faith in the game right now. I need something to get my faith back in the game. I really do.
Well, I mean, you can always borrow my little miner, so you're welcome to use that in the meantime.
Yeah, hopefully that works just as well. But I would like my own large, almost capital ship at this point.
Now, you had mentioned something about submarines a little while ago.
Yeah, when I was reading the things, it's kind of like, this sounds a lot like submarine combat, especially when they talk about, like an active ping and light you up like a Christmas tree. And it's like, that sounds like they're making submarine warfare. And I'll just read my notes word for word here and hope that I, wrote them nice enough. Because I can't think on the fly like this, which is how I wrote something down. So scanning is going to work on a passive and active system, like with a ping. Obviously, it sounds like submarines. The thing about submarines is they are underwater, and sound waves travel incredibly far through water, which is part of the reason why that kind of technology, exists, and why it's so, prevalent in submarines. And the last thing you really want to do, now, maybe the doctrines have changed, but I'm pretty sure they haven't, but the last thing you ever want to do is do an active ping when you're a submarine, especially if you're a very, very quiet submarine. Because basically that's like holding up a big flag saying, here I am, because everyone will know where you are, but there's a chance that you don't know where they are, depending on how their distance is, because the way it works is it sends out a pulse. And once that pulse hits something and rebounds off of it, you're getting a degraded signal as it travels back to you. So they'll know where you are, but if they're too far away, you won't know where they are. Now, obviously, this is space. Maybe it's not going to work exactly like that, but usually active is the last thing you want to do. I would love for them to have better passive sensors, but maybe more of specialized small ships like the Herald and Hornet Tracker, and there's another one I can't think of. But even on like larger ships where you have, let's not say the Connie, I'm trying to think of something above that, the Carrack, for example, which is I think becoming a pseudo capital now, where it's got more specialized sensors that would think of it like a focused beam, where you're not looking everywhere. You're looking like right over here, just kind of in front of you or to the left of you. Freelancer Dur would be another example, maybe not as powerful of sensors as like the Carrack or something, but you shouldn't have to want to go active all the time.
Any of you guys got the Freelancer Dur? Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Anybody? Freelancer Dur is going to be pretty good for exploring.
And it seems, if they're basing this off submarine combat, that maybe their direction's not exactly where it should be. But again, we don't have the whole information. So I hope they do better than just submarine combat, because it's not water, and active pings are bad. You don't want to be doing those.
Going back to kind of what you're talking about with like the focus scan, having put some time into DCS now, the plane that you really like, the Su-27.
Yes.
When you have basically three types of scanning. You have the passive, which is used primarily for things that are very, very far away or flying, not necessarily, or maybe flying away from you. I have this mix, which is kind of can capture more data on things that might also kind of be, and I might be wrong on this a little bit in the details, I'm still learning everything, but parallel to you or kind of somewhat towards you. And you have high, which is if a plane is running right towards you, it gets better tracking. And you can also set in the radar and the cone, because the radar is inside the cone of that plane.
Well, that's a Saber Raven.
Angle. You can make it go up, down, left, right. And you can set
I was wondering
to try
what
to
that
basically
was.
have it point in a certain direction. As far as focus scanning goes, another good one was there was a Star Wars RPG, pen and paper, a long time ago, by West End Games before it went to the D20. They had passive, active, and focus mode. Now, you can probably look up the rules on that online. Now, that's a very simple system, but it was very, very good. The passive was basically a circle around you. Focus was a cone that had like twice the range of the passive, but it was a cone. And the focus was much, much tighter cone, and it went way further than even the active. That system alone, it just breaks it down to 3 tiers, would, in some regards, be very ideal for what Star Citizen would want to do. Now, to some degree, I think that the
stay
passive ship should be able
hydrated.
to reach out the farthest, but maybe provide the least amount of information just based on what I've been experiencing in DCS. As long as we get enough information that we can make decisions about where we're going travel-wise with enough time for it to matter, that's really important. And speaking of things that can be attempted to be scanned, the Aegis Eclipse. So let's get into this real quick a little bit. This is one of the ships I do own, and I am looking forward to flying, but maybe not as much now because of a couple.
Lurch, you have this ship, don't you? You have the Eclipse, right? You have to pick up the phone and do work? Or did I put you to sleep, Lurch? I think Lurch has the Eclipse. I got the Eclipse too.
Things?
Can't
A
wait.
cockpit on the Eclipse, they like to use the phrase utilitarian and enclosed. I have another term for that, punky and obscured.
That's like all cockpits in Star Citizen now.
Yeah, it's weird because, the pitch and roll, you want to be able to look up, and there's this big hood over your head. Now, if you want to have, just cut some slots out of that and put a window up there. It looks like you're in a bunker, looking out a bunker's window. It is absolutely just, it's a cockpit designed for strafe and slide, gameplay. You try to pull up to follow somebody or see where you're going, you're going to collide in something. Can we stop blocking all the views? It doesn't make any sense. You can keep the left and right, that's fine, but good gravy, just cut some of that ceiling off, just a little. So
Well, let's diverge in a slight tangent just for about 2 minutes here.
yeah, go ahead.
In reality, you probably wouldn't want to have windows at all in a combat ship. You'd have multiple cameras, redundant cameras, large sensor packages, and you'd have a very, very armored control area. Obviously, in lore, they have the transparent steel or whatever that they've said is stronger than the steel they used to build the crafts. Then they go right back around themselves and say, oh well, pilot kills are an option. How are pilot kills an option when your own lore states that the glass is harder than the material used, which is why they don't use a lot of it? They have absolutely no idea what they're doing. And I've said that multiple times. I hate being a dead horse, but they really have no clue.
Sometimes I get that feeling, like, we'll get into that here in just a bit, but there's I feel there's a group of really intelligent, well-meaning, thoughtful, and passionate developers, and then there's a group of people who are just coming to work to get a paycheck. Now here's something that kind of caught my eye as well. They have an atmospheric flight mode and a space flight mode, and landing mode as well, of course, when the wings fold up. The wings fold in for atmospheric flight, and they fold out for space. Excuse me one second. Why?
You might want to put a warning there for headphone users.
I'll adjust the audio later. I'll bring it down. I won't blow anyone's ears out. Wings are for lift. You don't need them out in space. They should go in space, and they should go out in atmosphere. Now, call me crazy. Call me cray-cray.
Oh,
but-
jeez, what's the song lyrics? The Call Me Maybe? Damn it, I can't remember them.
I don't know. But
They are right about what they're saying. The wings should be out for atmosphere for better stability and not up. They're 100% correct. So I don't know if CIG's got their stuff wrong and it's the opposite of what they're saying, but what these guys are saying is right.
it seems to me that when you enter an atmosphere, the wings would be out. Now, if you go a certain speed, much like the F-14 Tomcat, then I could see the wings coming in. But there's never any reason for them to come out in space. You have a bigger signature, you're less stealthy. In space, the wings should be in at all times. This is just an example of completely backwards thinking. And what else can I say? I mean, wow, I'm mind blown.
Another thing, planes, when they go in an aircraft carrier, a lot of them have wings that fold up. Like, let's use the F-18, for example, right? The F-18 has, horizontal stabilizers in the back, and the wings kind of fold up to be about the same height as that. With a ship that has wings that can fold into itself, why would they have to go up at all?
Yeah, it seems like an extra step. I mean, you could just made them pull back even more if you needed more space. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it seems like an extra step. Just being fancy.
I know, that's why I figured,
really
Lurch.
cool,
Figured you'd answer the phone.
Also, the landing gear is on these edges.
You got
of
the
wings.
Eclipse, right?
So that's basically if you lose
Think
a
you
wing,
do.
you have landing problems again. Now, I was hoping CIG was moving away from this.
Clearly not.
Clearly not, because now they have to make it so the wings don't break off. Otherwise, the landing gear are going to do what they do in the Hornet right now, which is pop out of thin air if the wing
No,
gets
you
blown off,
don't.
and it looks really goofy.
Another thing is usually, as far as like a weight thing, because the wider your stance is, or your landing gear or your wheels, the more stable you are. But usually wings aren't really that heavy because there's like very little in them. I mean, like a lot of planes have like fuel tanks in the wings, or at least in World War II they did. I'm not quite sure about modern jets. The wings probably don't weigh nearly as much as the main body. So if you're looking at it, you have the big, thick, meaty area. Why not just have them somewhere on where it starts tapering down? You still have plenty of support at that end, and if your wings are folding inside the wings, it narrows your profile, and put some freaking wheels on it.
Not triangle ones.
No.
Now, here's a part that almost made me spill coffee on my keyboard. CIG stated that the Eclipse is one of those ships that you're going to need protection to fly. You're going to need to have an escort. I might be wrong on this, but flying a stealth ship towards a target with a bunch of non-stealth ships is like a ninja attaching road flares to his arms and legs and trying to sneak up on you, and they're lit. So to me, it defeats the purpose of the escort.
Wait, are the road flares all the same red color, or are they multiple colors?
No, we're going for the full gambit here. It's all different colors.
Okay. Yeah, then, woof. Yeah, I mean, you'd see that in my.
And he's waving his arms and legs like really fast, so like, just to be as stealthy as possible.
Disco ninja.
And his suit catches fire. A stealth ship is not made to go in with other ships as an escort. That is the opposite of what stealth is. You don't see our stealth bombers going, today one of our stealth bombers took out a target and was escorted by 4 F-18 Hornets. The target, they didn't notice any of them. That's not how this works.
Like the B-2 and the F-117 or whatever, they might fly with a wingman, but they wouldn't fly with a fighter escort.
Yeah. So as CIG says that the Eclipse is going to be a very useful ship when it comes to groups. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's a stealth ship. Unless it's a stealth wing of Eclipses, it's not going to be useful at all. The idea is to not be seen, to unload your payload and turn around and leave. That's it. You have guns only on the outside for defense, only like in emergency break glass, whatever kind of things. Stealth
Take
does
sabers
not mean
along.
You need an escort. It means you come in stealthily.
Saber's a
So
stealth
hopefully it
ship.
sees you. And the ship probably should have a turret on the rear section, automated, obviously.
Just like they said, the Saber was the first actual stealth fighter, and I can't see anything. Yeah, I hope those mechanics come in soon because
We need more golf swings.
we'll actually detect anybody. On to this week's Calling All Devs. Those questions in there, I really didn't have any interest in any of them, but Lightning said, no, I will
Yes.
do it.
Oh, there's 2 of them in here that I wanted to touch on. One of them was, question, if CIG decides against player name tags, will there unique looks to recognize people by the way they look? Like different clothes, armor, things like that. And the answer was, NPCs and players can wear the same clothes. Guys, I don't think that's an answer. I mean, unless the answer is no.
Yeah, that's the answer. That is the short form of the actual answer. It's like, if there's no name tags, you're not going to be able to, unless of course you get some guy bunny hopping in the middle of the road, or you get some guy that's like spinning in circles, shooting his gun everywhere. That's probably a player. But in that case,
what we need emotes, and we need like dances. I
Yeah.
want to be able to do the dirty dancing, not dirty dancing.
dirty dancing. Oh god, you are not. I am not going to run towards you and you lift me in the air. That's not happening. Your fantasies are not coming true in this show.
I'll never let go, Jack.
That's something else.
I was just thinking of holding up. Anyway, another question they had was, currently when you enter the Freelancer using the side door, the airlock vents the entire ship. Will there be anything to address that? And the answer was, a lot of ships have this problem, and they're going to be working on it, making sure there's airlocks and pressurization, depressurization. But I look at this saying, like, derp, because clearly they didn't think about this when they did the ships this way. So it's another one of those style over function things, and I just thought it was a lovely way for them to be pointing out all the flaws in their game with every one of these lovely Calling All Devs segments.
My question is, like, you clearly have force fields that keep air in. You have them like for the landing pads and things like that. So why not for those ships that have, like, for example, the Freelancer they use had the side door. They said, oh, when you depressurize the ship, well, why doesn't the interior door have a force field around it that keeps the air in, and you go through that, and then you're inside, the door closes? To me, it seems like a simple solution. They don't have to get. I mean, they have like, here's some tech we're using on the Idris. Why is it not available at other places? If you created a ship that has like a big, like, oh, I'm going to open the back of the Freelancer, but I don't want to depressurize, so a force field is going to be on. You open it, you walk to the force field, now you're in space. You haven't depressurized the ship. I mean, the tech and the lore is already in your game. Just work with it. Work with it. It's there.
Welcome
And
to
another
the
thing
Boneyard.
is this just points out that unless you're on a big capital
Toby
ship, like a big
Teach,
capital
thank you
ship,
for
there's no
following.
reason not to be wearing armor. I mean, just straight up.
Yeah, so that goes back to the first question about how you identify players. The guy with like 40 guns strapped to his hip, running around armor that's pink and yellow. That's a good way to tech too. Yeah.
Yeah, because NPCs are probably wearing regular clothes, mechanics outfits.
No player's ever going to take their armor off for fear of getting killed by somebody randomly.
no player's going to take off an EVA suit or armor because of the permadeath and the nature of space. I mean, why would you ever take that stuff off unless you were planet side and the law was like, you can't have guns or armor on here because we're a civilized place, which, by the way, guns, sure, that makes sense, fine. But why would you take armor off? That doesn't make any sense. I think that was one of their Q&A sessions.
I tell you what, with their hygiene thing, all I'll do is this: I'll never bathe. When I take the helmet off, they'll be like, "No, actually, put it back on." No problem solved. I get past any rule. All right, and it's a kind of a last thoughts. I wanted to talk about something. First of all, before I get into this, I'd like to say that there's a lot of good, passionate people at CIG. I'm never going to say otherwise. You got like Tony Z, you got John Pritchett. You can see that there's passion in the lore team. Be nice if the developers actually used any of the lore. So you can see the passion, the desire to make this game work. They love the art, they love the text. Sometimes they love the art too much, with the reflections, but that's something that, they're just too enthusiastic there. But they love what they do, and you can tell. And then you have the flight team, which we've actually heard them say how much they hated doing what they're doing on an actual stream. And boy, does it show. And it's like having these two different cultures. The guys who want everything to be as amazing as it can be, and the guys who just show up for the paycheck. When it comes to flight, why do they do everything backwards? Literally backwards. Wings for space, retracted wings for atmospheric flight. Wings are for lift, hello. Hard to read, hard to use MFDs because of pacing, you can't use them very well. They're badly placed in a lot of ships. The cockpits, they obscure vision. They're large enough dashboards in those cockpits that your crew could sleep on them if they're tired. All the glowy and transparent buttons and panels you can't read if there's any light source behind them.
Also the Omni tool, aka the whatever.
They have high acceleration with low top speeds when it should actually be the opposite. The flight is based on strafe and dodge when it was talked about multiple times as being pitch and roll. They have a brilliant physics engine programmed inside, and that's your core flight model, but it's overridden with a bunch of bullshit over-the-top values that negate the engine that's inside. They have a high time on target focused flight based on DPS and time to kill. And what it should be is flight that's based on positioning to obtain a good firing solution. They created a control mode, interactive mode, that only works on one control method on one controller. And it doesn't even balance with the other method in the same controller. Then they create ESP to balance this shooter-focused mechanic and increase all the rotations, and then try to balance off the damage of the weapons between tiers in a scale that's not even congruent with the other things in the game, or even the industry standard. All this was done to avoid universal controls for some reason. There's a bunch of ships out there that have forever gimbaled weapons that people with first-order devices like sticks or gamepads or whatever can never fully utilize. But they pay the same money. And then people say, oh, just throw a blade in there. But you know what? That's a blade you can't use for something else. So that's still not the same thing. The whole design, it not only screws over the flight, but it screws over everybody else forever who doesn't actually use a zero-order device. The missiles are short-range, ridiculously so. They're main-centric, while the ships are pretty much MAV-centric. The missiles can't track, and the ship they're being fired upon, that the missile's tracking, basically goes and strafes around the missile. The turrets were designed for pitch and roll flight, badly placed, but still designed around pitch and roll flight. And then they give first-order controls left and right, and zero-order up and down, which is a terrible control scheme by any regards. The turrets won't work in an environment that is not pitch and roll, especially if they're designed that way, and the flight.
These guys are like hardcore flight sim guys that are just totally ripping the Star Citizen apart. And it's got its place, but I say it's got to be fun too. So
Fight is all about strafing and dodging, and the ships
High
change.
speeds.
Yeah, they changed vectors too quickly for the turrets to track. So it's a mess. There's a multiple flight.
yeah, everything's open for discussion. So make yourself at home, put your feet up, relax. Just a bunch of animals here.
Modes. It should only pretty much be decoupled, and maybe I guess precision mode, like for landing, like it caps out your acceleration just to make it easier. I can understand a landing mode, but it should just be decoupled. Coupled was just thrown in basically so that people didn't have to feel any real sense of mass or sliding, which is kind of what space combat is. In fact, it's even also what atmospheric combat is. When you turn a plane, even in atmosphere, believe it or not, you're sliding. There's a certain amount of mass, and there's a certain amount of you have to have motion and counter motion. It takes time. The idea here is to have ships fly on rails and do it in every direction simultaneously, and faster in reverse.
What are they, French ships?
Main engines, these gigantic main engines, are nearly equal in power to the small, tiny little MAV nozzles that are on these things. It's just kind of as a bonus, radar and ground combat that eliminates, the idea of movement tactics, because you always know where the opponent is. Where does he keep the radar in this codpiece? Third-person views, even when in combat. Obviously you can't see indicators and stuff, but you can still go third-person and look around the corner. Now, anyone who's played something like Arma or any sort of game at all that has that option knows that that's a mechanic that gets abused instantly. There's no threat to you. You just pop third person, and you're able to see around that corner. If an ambush is set, or ambush them, you can look over a fence without actually sticking your head up. It's a real mess. I really feel at this point in time, third person, it's an odd thing to have, and something dubbing itself as a first person universe. BVR combat, they talk about beyond visual range, but they talk about in a way of having a seeing eye dog, and basically the ship scans and then sends the data back. When we have current day technology that see what's up ahead without having someone basically call it in. All these designs, they are completely backwards. If you were to draw a chart about how to make a flight game and then do the opposite, that is how perfectly they've gone backwards on so many decisions. So for the developers that clearly don't give a crap about the flight mechanics of the game and think making a flight game into an FPS is a acceptable or skillful or innovative idea, you're wrong, and you're ruining the game.
Well, you kind of have two camps here. You have the people that obviously are talented, but they're not flight guys. So they're
but
great
they're not
at what they
even
do.
taking any input from like the thousands of other sources out there. They're not taking input from pilots and all these other people that are coming out saying, no, look, this is how it works, and this is why it works that way. And it's like, we're going to do it our way, and you're wrong. I'll just stare at the camera blankly, and that's somehow wins the argument.
That's another story altogether. Mostly that's one person.
Yeah,
that I can think of. But I mean, they have a lot of very talented people, but not all of them are in the right place.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the case. I don't know. But you know what? You have to go out of your way to mess up this bad. You have to. It's not hard to find examples. It's not hard to go to a YouTube and look at, let's look at radar systems on real-world planes for comparisons and watch a 10-minute video that does a brief explanation. Or how do missiles track? Why is that? Okay, that's interesting. Or, G-safe might make more sense that, maybe slowing down people when they're turning makes less sense than just reducing the rotation so they don't want the enemy to catch up.
No, we need more rotations.
Maybe we need to respect G-force. I mean, and why is that? And then look up G-forces and studies. YouTube is great right there alone, and that's just one tiny piece of the internet. It would take so little time to research this information to figure out maybe this is how it should be done. I mean, when this kind of thing happens, I really get the feeling like it's 5 o'clock, boom, they hit the time card, they're gone. That's it. That's the last I think of it. They come the next morning, they clock in, they start again. If you're passionate about something, you dig into it afterwards. I mean, you look at it, you think about it. It becomes, how do I make this better, and why doesn't this mesh if it isn't meshing? And then you look for examples. You just don't ignore them. I don't see passion on the flight model guys. I don't see it.
I got it sped up a little bit so the video don't take a whole half hour.
Very well. But everyone else he built a wonderful engine, and everyone else is just throwing things at it, and it's just terrible.
Just about targets. Hit this target. How fast can it accelerate? How fast can it turn?
Yeah, I can't wait till permadeath comes in. That's gonna be
We're on the accelerated news program.
Constantly making a new character. So anyway, as I said, we love what they're doing along pretty much every other aspect, with the exception of Reflections. Their tech, their vision, their ideas, their graphics, their lore, the fact they're making their own freaking languages. It's all brilliant. Get some flight, guys. CIG, just do it. Make it a stretch goal if you have to. Start a new Kickstarter, Flight Guys for CIG. I guarantee you get that sucker paid off in a day.
No more stretch goals. They've already got all the money they need. It's time for them to lock their shit down and make a real game.
Speaking of real games, later this week I have a couple more videos about DCS, and wow, there's some really amazing stuff. I took the F-18 out for the first time on the test server and attempted to make a carrier landing.
I'm sure it went just fine.
It did. It was amazing. Nothing went wrong whatsoever. Promise. I actually don't. All right, everyone, that's about it for this week's Blastcast. Not a whole lot of news as we get closer and closer to the next test cycle for Evo Cadi, no doubt. Just a lot of ranting and why. But other than that,
confusion.
Yeah,
why do they do the things they do?
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, also, just as a quick note for those who actually made this video, I don't know if you've watched the DCS videos. Probably not, because they're not watched very heavily. As we're playing, we actually talk about Star Citizen mechanics and relate them to what we're doing. So if you want to see how these things apply, give them a check out. It's just give them a watch, because I think it's going to explain some things. And I'm dealing with
here's the link.
People who are hardcore simmer.
The link to the Blastcast. All right. So we can take this stream in two different directions tonight. We can either watch the Sunken Coast Galaxy about the original investor that invested in the Star Citizen, and then he pulled out, and all of his fact digging that he dug that led up to the reasons why he pulled out. So we can go down that road and watch those videos, or we can go into like some Star Citizen gameplay, or we could go into like maybe some Mech Warrior Online gameplay. Something that's going to keep me awake. So what do you guys want to do in chat? You guys want to watch the Sunken Coast Galaxy thing that Oxford was talking about? You want to play Star Citizen? All right, we'll run into some Star Citizen gameplay. Turn the music on.
chest only.
So another Star Citizen moment where we pray to God our controls work. They didn't get all switched around. What's that? That music in that link? Is it non-copyrighted? Kind of forced to stick to non-copyrighted music. Otherwise they ban me on YouTube when I post my videos. YouTube hates me. They'll send me a million nasty letters. How guilty I am of playing songs.
Down the rabbit hole.
Down the rabbit hole.
When first
What
viewing
the
one of the
heck?
gameplay demos from Star Citizen, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed. The environments are detailed and beautiful, the flying is satisfying to watch, and the seamless transitions from space to a fully rendered planet are stunning, as is the ability to walk around the ships while they're being flown. A quick glance at the game's website reveals that they have raised almost $130 million and counting, while another section claims that there are numerous A-list actors for it. Searching for information online will
That's almost like the videos I was going to show as a series. And it was goes into a bunch of fact checking. Alright, we're going to go into the universe. See what we can stir up in here. So I've managed to make a little bit of money. I haven't lost any ships due to server crashes, which is good, but you can't really seem to make a lot of money without going to the drug lab. I might have to go to the drug lab. I have to do it. Go to a drug lab, risk my life. Fun. Might not be fun. See, my avatar is looking up into outer space like something, a stiff neck or something. Fix that. There we go. All fixed. There we go. Oh boy. So what ship we gonna take to the drug lab? Cutlass is probably the best ship, but I usually don't do the best thing. What do you guys think? I got almost all the ships. You can take well anything. Take a Gemini to the drug lab. Starfare. Or I can just take the Cutlass. That's probably all I got money for is the Cutlass. The Cutlass is here.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
Hopefully I have controls when I get into my ship. Been running into a problem with my sticks not working. Having to rebind it all. Got the old man walk. And my Cutlass is in no condition to fly, as we can see here. It is spawned with no doors on, which isn't good. That's not a good sign of anything. Alright. So maybe the server's having problems. We'll try another server. The ship got everything on it? No. I don't think I should be able to see in here. There should be like a door here probably. Yeah, it's probably a server. A server problem. No doors. The life of a Star Citizen streamer trying to play a game that is broken. I'm in the US, so I assume it put me in a US server. So to force it into putting me into a different server, I gotta pick AU. And hopefully my new server will give me ships with parts on them. So my theory is that there's people working in the background on these servers. Different teams doing different things on different servers. So what's going on one server isn't necessarily going on another. What I think. So if you're unlucky enough to get a server that they happen to be screwing with, then you're screwed. On my cutlass.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
Number 7. Alright. Hopefully our ship's got stuff on it. Oh, wrong turn for me. Number 7. 5 and 6. 7 and 8. Oh. Okay, we're gonna have to try another ship. Let's try another ship. What else to do? Maybe Star Citizen's just not in the cards tonight. I don't know. Wanna play? I need a ship with parts on it. So, Cutlass Black. Let's just claim it. Maybe it'll come back. Parts on it. And we'll spawn one of my Geminis. And hopefully it's got doors. Really want doors. Sign's wrong.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
This way. All right. There we go. It's got doors on it. Got a ship. A big ship. Alright, gotta get in the captain's chair. Ew, across the catwalk. Should be it right in here. Alright, here we are. Get in the pilot chair. So we're gonna go to the drug lab over in yellow. Hopefully I got controls to make it happen.
MIS outing today. Systems on.
Systems are on. Oh yeah. Got some controls happening here. Beautiful ship. What do you guys think? You think she's beautiful? I think she's beautiful. So we're gonna go to yellow.
Landing gear up.
Well, does anybody want to come with me before I take off out of here? Anybody want to go run drugs? You guys do, let me know. Yes? No? I'm gonna run drugs.
Quantum travel engaged.
I'm using a Warthog that's tied to an Obuto cockpit. I got track IR, but I'm not currently using it right now at this very moment.
Quantum travel complete.
So I want to get marker 4. So you go to yellow and you go to marker 4 is how we get to the drug lab. Or at least how I think I know how to get to the drug lab, if I can find it.
Quantum travel engaged.
Stress testing new hardware. What'd you build, Kool-Aid? If you don't mind typing all that out. If you don't want to, that's okay.
Quantum travel complete.
I love building stuff. I do everything manual. I fire up everything with the number 8 key. And then I go right into F4 and then I strafe up, throttle her up. So I went to marker 4 and I'm supposed to be looking for these 3 white dot things that I don't see yet. Here somewhere. Somewhere I'm hoping. There they are. Okay. Got my 3 dots. And there's supposedly 2 mountains somewhere in the distance there. So it's gonna be like that mountain right there. Recently got a second 2x8 gig kit out for his RAM. 32 gig. What brand motherboard did you get? Gigabyte's been making some good ones, but they've been making some bad ones too. I'm a big time overclocker. So you got the Asus, so what's the clock of the CPU and what are you trying to hit? What's the stock speed and what are you going for? Got my i9 14 core doing 4500 unless I use more than 8 cores and then it shifts to 4200. I set it up that way because it would get like really hot, dude. Oh yeah, the Ryzen 1600. Yep. No, well, yeah, 3.8 is what everybody's getting out of it. That should be easy. That should be easy to get 3.8. The 2700 is that the APU with the Vega 10 on it? Graphics? I was thinking about doing that for my arcade machine. Alright, so there's no graphics card in it. It's just a CPU. Got it.
This is my finale. Last grand exit plan. This is my big ending. Coda before this chapter dies.
So there's like 2 mountains beyond these white dots. So after I fly between the 2 white dots, there's 2 mountains and we gotta stick to the left one. I think I'm pointed at the left one, it's right above where I'm pointing. AMD CPUs are cooler than Intel CPUs now. It's like a role reversal. Like my i9 is the hottest chip I've ever had to deal with. And I got some serious water cooling going on. Like super serious. Like
welcome to the board.
Thank you for following Mitmo74. Really appreciate it. Yeah, my cooler's like probably like a gallon to fill it. It's got 2 480 radiators. Pretty intense. But then again, I'm dealing with 14 cores that are overclocked. That's a lot of heat, man. 28 threads.
superstitious man, but you made a believer out of me.
Alright, so looking for some mountains here. 2 mountains after I cross through the white dots. Should be a mountain on the left, and that's where the drug lab. I'm kind of thinking it's here where my mouse is. I kind of think that might be it in there. Not sure, or maybe it's this. I'm gonna go to the drug lab, pick up some drugs, because it's the only way we can make money as truckers nowadays. We're not close enough to see it there yet. We are at full afterburner and we are closing. So I backed off on the throttle. I'm looking for it. Backing off on the throttle is not really helping me. I'm still like
Caution. Starboard collision.
cruising.
Caution. Rear collision.
Colliding. Oh, here we go. Throttle's working now. Alright. So I slipped on through. Still drifting though. Maybe that's it. Not sure. I might not find it, Kool-Aid. I think it's on the other side of this mountain, or the mountain way over to the left. I gotta fly low and look inside all these craters. Is that a building inside there? No. I'm pretty sure this is the mountain range. Where it is inside this mountain range, I don't know. The mountain beyond the mountain? Like, that's what I was thinking too. The mountain straight in front of me. No, it is. I think it's on the other side of the peak of that mountain. Which I need to get some altitude for. Yeah, we'll be going to triage. I'm thinking it's in here, isn't it? Something down there? I really can't tell. No, that's not it. I mean, some lights on, I thought. Just rocks. Oh, that's something. Oh, excuse me. That rocks. Got lights. Lights don't help me. No, those aren't buildings. Bullseye looking crater. Okay. What about that? Right there on my left. I mean, doesn't that look like something? It all looks like something to me if you stare at it long enough. Getting lost here, looking for the drug lab. Maybe I gotta go up higher. Oh, you think it's funny that I'm lost? I see. I spent a lot of time lost. Yeah, this is my mountain range. I'm pretty sure that this is somewhere around here. Flying in style. Okay, all eyes open. Oh, that right in front of me, that kind of looks like a was getting lit up for a second or two. Bring her down some. This is a new definition of Lost in Space. Twistar stream. So there's the back of the mountain. Oh, it's by here. Is that my lights actually working? That's not it. Over this way. Like some oblong craters over this way. Oh, it's getting dark. Oh no. This looking familiar to anybody? Before we lose all of our light? Oh man. Life just got hard. I think I'm gonna have to go do another mission. Plus the daylight cycle's not that long. Enjoy your food, Kool-Aid. Wouldn't it be great if I just happen to stumble upon it? All right. Come back when it's light. I have to find another destination. Something else to haul. Go to Grim Hex. Grim Hex. Here we go. Landing gear is not supposed to be deployed, it's supposed to be up. Hit the button twice. Come on, put up the landing gear. There we go. I don't know why that was so hard to get done. Okay, let's get out of here. You gotta bust out of the atmosphere before you can get any markers to go anywhere. This planet doesn't have atmosphere, so wonder you can target stuff right away. No, you can't. I gotta wait until I get so far away from the planet, I believe, before it'll let me go. Taking his sweet time getting up to speed, I'll tell you that. Big ass ship. Not going anywhere in a hurry, that's for sure. Got some nice forward guns. You can get your target to stand still long enough to shoot it. Why are you saying you're obstructed, baby? Should be clear from everything. Probably still too close to the planet. Hopefully I'll make a little money off of something. Go to Grim Hex, buy something, fly it back to Port Olisar. Maybe I won't spend all my money, and when I come back through here, it'll be like light out here. Got some drugs. Widow. Let's go directly away from the planet. Let's see if that helps us. I think that did it because the line turned green, at least on this map. Usually when the line turns green, your objective's green, but it's not. So maybe we'll just hit the B key and hopefully it doesn't. Maybe I'm out of jump fuel. That could be another reason. Are all the other markers not obtainable? Right. Alright, yeah. We're just not up far enough away from the planet. Sad but true. One day we'll get enough speed to break the gravity of this planet. Yeah, I thought it was something like you had to get so far away from the planet. So what are people gonna do aboard your great big ship while you're flying it and it takes 45 minutes or something to get somewhere? That's something I worry about. Getting stuck on a ship for 45 minutes doing nothing. Where's my fuel gauge on this ship? Let's see any. Oh, over here. No, that's not it. Plan on doing that, you should probably think about getting 2 accounts. You should do like all your pirating on a separate account. I recommend that.
Quantum travel engaged. Quantum travel complete.
Okay. Alright, so I'm flying in this asteroid belt. Is that pad big enough for me? Probably not. We're gonna find out though. We will find out. Does it fit? Will it fit? You're still going to want a second account. You're not going to want the bad guys to know who you really are. I think it's a maybe. Maybe down there if it's wide enough. Should be long enough. A little too much there. I'm not sure if we're gonna get this or not. There's not enough pad there. Oh. Maybe I can park it with the nose hanging off of it if I'm really careful. Get a little balance with the nose. But then I won't be able to get out of it. Maybe on this pad. Yeah, I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. Looks like this is gonna be our closest. Boy, oh boy. Alright, let's see what we got. So I got barrels on that side. A little bit of room over here. Alright. Let's
See help you today. Systems on.
see if they'll even give us a landing. No, they're going to.
Sorry, your vessel exceeds the size limitations for our hangars.
I know it exceeds the size limitation of your hangar. I don't think the captain cares about your rules. I wonder if they're gonna fill my ship up. That's the question. Are they gonna fill me out? Can I get out the back? All this and more. Oh no. Do you think I'm gonna be able to get out the back door? Or do you think I'm screwed?
Initiating ship storage procedure. For your safety, please vacate the area. Thank you for your
Ship
cooperation.
storage procedure? What? I gotta get out of here. Oh man, I gotta take off. No! Don't do this to me. Really? Bet you I can't spawn my ship either. Oh, you bastards.
I'm sorry, your vessel exceeds the size limitations for our hangars.
Unfortunately, our automated system is unable to access that ship at this time. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Oh, well, why is it every time I want to do something, the game doesn't want to cooperate? Well, how'd you store it if it didn't fit? What kind of computer are you? My Greater Adventures in Star Citizen. I'll take my Razor back.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
A5. One, two, three, four, 5. Okay, number 5. You have a Razor waiting for me. Why don't I see my Razor vehicle dot? Okay, there it is. Where's my ship? Huh? Oh, I think I bloodied my nose. There's no engines in my ship, guys. You guys seeing this? That doesn't look good. Wow. The game is broken. Really broken. I don't know what to say except for I'm sorry guys for inviting you to watch this broken game. Oh boy. How am I gonna get off of here? I gotta come up with another ship. Well, I got more ships, but if they all spawn broken, they ain't gonna help me get off of here. Well, I guess spawn another ship. The Great Escape from Grim Hex. That's what we're gonna have to call this stream, the Escape from Grim Hex. Twistar's Escape from Grim Hex. After spawning many ships with missing parts. I just came up here. Ship terminals right over here. Does anybody know a ship that's spawning like with all its parts intact like most of the time? So I don't waste my time. Anybody? Definitely not touching my saber because then my arena commander will be all screwed up. I know my vanguards weren't playing nice with me and my cutlass wasn't playing nice with me. Try and we can try to freelancer and put something in it. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Let's see if we can get something and put in the freelancer. On the freelancer here. So we gotta go up to the other terminals where we can buy stuff. Or go down to the core. I think that's what they call it, the core. Alright, so I'm looking for like a hallway with I think it's a pip machine. Mr. Pip machine. Oh, this is a clothing shop. Yeah. Gonna be a hallway. Yep. With this Pips machine, so you're looking for that, and then you go over here to the open sign, and then here's the terminal where you buy stuff for your ship. I did that. I went to another server and everything, and my ships were still broken. Then I did my user folder, deleted that. That didn't help me out either. Now, why isn't my freelancer showing up on here? Because I can put stuff in my cutlass. I swear to God, my cutlass isn't here. So what should I buy here, guys? Should I buy any of this? It looks overpriced. Maybe the gold. Might make money off the gold, I'm not sure. Anybody? Anybody got an idea how to make money off of what I see in front of me? Buy the gold. Now watch me not be able to spawn my cutlass. It would be tragedy. Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to spawn the cutlass. Looking good so far.
The ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
Okay. A1. That should be easy. I don't see one on this list, though. Huh. It's out there. Maybe one's on this. There is an airlock here. The other one started off with number 2. Probably right outside the other door, but I don't know. Okay. I think I just spaced myself. And I walked out like into some weird space thing. Okay, get me back into reality. The ship is definitely not out that door. So all the ships must be out this way. Maybe there's some more signs once you get out here. One, 3, 4. Yeah, here we go. Oh God. There's doors on it? There is doors on it. Is it my ship? Yeah, it's my ship. Holy crap. We got a mission. We got gold. We got Grim Hex gold. Bought for 6.8. Oh, this is exciting. Got working stuff. Don't tell me I don't have engines.
Hello and welcome aboard.
Alright, here we go. Get out of here. Plotting course for the fuck out of here. I should say the bugger out of here. Get the bugger out of here. Alright.
Thank you. And please visit again.
I will visit again. Because you stole my ship. My Gemini. You stole it. Coming back with missiles. Blow you up. Alright. Drop my marker for pull OSR. So. Oh, there it is.
Landing gear up.
Uh-huh. What is that white circle ring? Is that like... What is that? Oh, it's the Corona planet. Because the sun's on the other side of it. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. That is pretty neat looking, I must say. Very pretty. Well, if we don't get a game, we'll at least get a bunch of good screensavers out of it. Very least.
Quantum drive is now on.
Quantum drive. Just picked up some gold.
Quantum drive is now off.
Okay. Yeah. Got that funky grind going on in the music there. I like that. see if these guys will talk to us. To land.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Thank you.
Landing gear down.
This is how we do. Coming in. I'll give myself some room for the back door to open.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Let's see what we get for our gold. Gold. What do you guys think? I bought it for 6.8. Am I gonna lose money? Break even? Or am I gonna make a little bit? I'd like to make a little bit. I'm gonna break even. Bet you I sell it for 6.8. Press the screen to continue. They're not even buying my gold. Oh, what the heck the deal is here? Sell gold, they should buy it. Wow. They won't take my gold. Maybe. I got crime stat. Maybe due to my crimes. I landed here without getting fired upon, so I don't think it's because of my crimes. Could be wrong. Not sure. But is that time for me to get off? Turn you guys over to somebody else. see who we got streaming tonight. Really don't know any of these guys. I don't even know if these guys speak English. What's got going on? It looks like he's speaking English. Crash this guy. Crash him good. Incoming raid, my friend. Alright guys, it was nice streaming. Next Wednesday we're going to do the news, go into some gameplay. Maybe Lurch will join us, maybe he won't, I don't know. Something will happen. Hopefully it'll be better than today with no ship doors and all the missing parts.
Esto es Ruto, ¿no? Deberías proyectar aquí el holograma de Ruto porque no lo estás haciendo. Vamos a volver a entrar como si nada. Game over, man. Wow, ya te digo, No hay... o sea... no hay fin. No hay fin, tío.
He doesn't speak English.
Vamos a intentar atravesarlo. Para llegar al otro lado. No, no se puede, tío. Nada más esto. No puedo interaccionar con él. ¡Oh, Ruto! Pues nada, pues nada. No hay Ruto, habrá que coger otra misión. Qué moco. Menudo moco, tío, de pirata espacial. Toma por culo. Sí, sí, yo estaba aquí, tío. Gracias por dejarme tirado. Sí. Hasta luego. $230, $340, $230, $340, $540. $340, $230, $230. Joder, no había nadie como Ruto, tío. Nadie era como Ruto. Parece que voy a tener que empezar a... ¿Italian? No, non italiano, bambini. Io sono spagnolo. Io non parlo più italiano. Io sono a figlio della mia mamma. Esto ha sido parecido, ¿no? Supongo. No lo sé. Siempre viene el segundo que llama. No. Bueno, esta es la mía. Adiós, pringaos. Estoy vacilando. Ma che così, questo di petto? Io sono bambino. Italius.